Hello and welcome to my video, Top 10 Mythical Weapons and Objects. Number 10. 7 League Boots. There are many forms of stories about these boots in many locations around the world. They are also found in many board games and video games. These boots are popular in English folklore that was originally taken from a French fairy tale. The boots were reported to be made by imprisoning a djinn, or commonly known for us as a genie, in each boot. This process allowed the boots to operate on an eighth plane where the rules of time and space didn't apply. The premise is that while wearing the boots you would be able to cover 7 leagues in one stride. Just so you know, a league is roughly 3 miles, so you could cover 21 miles in one step. I found it interesting that in the popular video game Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, they were called boots of blinding speed that let your character run really fast, but also blinded you. Number 9. Gunner's Edgar. While not an exactly interesting story at first glance, how many weapons can you think of that actually physically show enjoyment for blood? There isn't much about this weapon to tell, but I will give you what I know. The weapon is basically a halberd and is found in an Icelandic story known as Niamsur. A great warrior by the name of Gunnar Hermundarson utilized this weapon until it was finally broken in battle. What makes the weapon interesting is that it would actually ring or sing in anticipation of bloodshed when it was taken down for war. Number 8. The Gram. In Norse mythology, this sword almost follows the story of King Arthur and Excalibur. The sword is also known as Balmung, just so it is stated. Gram was placed into a tree by Odin, and it was said that whoever was able to pull it out would be victorious in their battles. After several princes attempted and failed, a small man by the name of Sigmund managed to achieve the task. Sigmund became a great warrior and was even known to kill dragons, but in one battle, Odin, in disguise, destroyed Gram. Sigmund kept the pieces of the sword in hopes of reforging it. A bit of time later, it was reforged, and it was said to be so powerful and sharp that it would cut an anvil in half with little effort. Number 7. Envaronaut. Not everything on this list has to be a weapon, and this one is an example of that. This object is a ring, and while many rings have been written about, this one is quite fantastic. This ring is actually credited as an inspiration for the One Ring in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings story. This ring is found in Norse mythology and is almost a continuation to the previous item on this list. The ring was able to make gold and originally was owned by Andvari, a dwarf who was able to turn himself into a fish at will. While in this form, Loki captured him and took the ring, which Andvari then cursed it with making anyone who had it come into misfortune or die. The ring exchanged hands many times until a dwarf by the name of Fafnir stole it, became a dragon, and then protected the ring. Siegfried, also known as Sigmund, yes, the same guy from the Gram story, slayed Fafnir and brought the ring and curse into his family. Number 6. Axe of Perun. The Norse have Thor as their thunder god, but in Russia he is known as Perun and uses an axe instead of a hammer. In the Slavic mythology, Perun was the ruler of the living world, sky, and earth. It is written that he had many weapons in his arsenal, but would use his axe against evil people and spirits. It is said that, much like Thor's hammer, he would throw it at someone, and after it was finished, it would return to his hand automatically. To this day, many people still make and wear jewelry representing this axe. Number 5. The Cintamani Stone. This stone has its basis in many areas of the world with many different stories. Some state that Buddha actually had it at one point, but it is now lost. What is agreed upon in all renditions is that the stone fell from the sky, and many believe it came from the Orion constellation. A Russian explorer and artist named Nicholas Roerich claims to have a piece of the stone and states that it has 4 Sanskrit characters on it that when translated says, "Through the stars I come, I bring the chalice covered with a shield. Within it I bring a treasure, the gift of a rhyme. So, what is so great about this green stone? It is said to be able to grant any wish you may have, cure any ailment, purify water, cause immortality, or just give you immense power. As stated before, the stone was split into multiple fragments, and it is claimed that they are kept hidden in locations around the world. There are also claims of being in hands of secret organizations. Number 4. Teen Bon. This weapon is found in the Hindu stories. I shy away from saying myth here since the man that used the weapon is worshipped to this day. The story goes that a man by the name of Babarika was a very skilled warrior. This skill pleased the god Shiva so much that Babarika was given 3 infallible arrows called Teen Bon. When released, these arrows would serve a different purpose but would always return to his quiver. It is stated that the first arrow would mark all the things that he wanted to destroy. The second arrow would mark all the things that he wanted to save, and the third would destroy everything that was marked by the first arrow. These arrows were so powerful that they would fly about marking things just by Babarika's will. No offense meant by this, but it is sort of like Yondu's arrow from Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 3. Club of Dagda. Dagda is considered a god in Irish mythology. He was the High King of the supernatural race of beings known as Tuatha De Danann. Dagda is frequently shown with a cauldron that was considered bottomless and that it never ran out of food. He carried with him a magical club that had considerable strength. It is said that the club could clear a battlefield in one sweep. The handle of the club could also be used to return the dead back to life. The club was said to be so large that Dagda would frequently just drag it behind him as he walked. Number 2. Sigh. When I first made this list, I knew the Sigh would be on it, but suddenly realized something interesting. Of course, the personification of death, the Grim Reaper, carries one, and the weapon has become more popular because of this. Traditionally, the Sigh is a tool used for cutting down harvest on the farm, otherwise known as reaping. For the Grim Reaper, it is used with the same symbolism, but other than him reaping harvest, he is reaping souls, or life. Now what suddenly hit me was that the Grim Reaper isn't the only being represented with the Sigh. Father Time also has this weapon, and that led me to more research into this topic. Many preliminary searches found people confusing the two as being the same person, until I finally got to the root. In an interesting twist, the Grim Reaper is actually Father Time's son. Basically, Father Time represents the Greek being known as Kronos, and the Grim Reaper is the Greek being known as Thanatos. While I couldn't find a definitive reason why Father Time is shown with a Sigh, it is stated that he sends out his son to collect a person's soul when he deems it is their time. Number 1. Maui fishhook. This object is found in the Hawaiian mythology about a hero known as Maui. He was a demigod, where his father was the holder of the heavens and his mother was the guardian to the path to the underworld. Maui was the only one of his siblings that had the power of magic and miracles, but was also the smallest of them all. His brothers were better fishermen than him, and on many occasions Maui tricked them into thinking he was good at it by stealing their fish that they had caught. His mother told him to go to his father to get a magic hook called Mani Akalani, which was a hook found in the heavens and was said to be able to pull up landforms from the sea. After his brothers had an unsuccessful fishing trip, he went out with them and cast his line into the water with the magic hook attached. As soon as his hook caught, he told his brothers to row furiously, but not to ever look back at what was happening. This went on for 2 days until one of his brothers decided to look back and quit rowing, and was in shock to see land rising out of the seas. Even though Maui told him to look away, it was too late and his line broke, and the hook was lost to the sea. Maui was upset, since he had planned on raising a large landmass and only managed to bring up a few islands. To this day, These landmasses are now known as Hawaii. Before I end this video, I wanted to let you know that I've made a Facebook account for this channel now. And right now I don't have anything on it, but I'm planning on getting it up and running more. In the meantime, you can always link to me in my Twitter, which I keep fairly active, and I post things on there that I normally don't elsewhere. But with that, I will end this here. So be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.